to hold it? It's pretty light.
Bonjour. Welcome.
They're going to help you with the pronunciation.
Yes, bonjour. Thank you. I'll be speaking in English today. I'm sorry, my French is very, very bad. But welcome. My name is Brandon. I'm actually one of the pilots for Skycatch. Today we're going to talk to you about one of our new products we're releasing, Work Mode. We've taken a lot of what we've learned working with major customers in the mining, construction, agriculture, and solar industry. We've essentially tried to make these tools available to multiple pilots. So today I'm going to actually walk you through a day in the life of being a pilot at Skycatch and what it's like to use UAVs to collect data. But before we start, I'm actually going to introduce you to Umber, who's the lead product design at our company, and he's going to tell you a little bit about Skycatch.
Hi, everybody. My name is Umber. I think you're going to ask, who here has flown a drone before? Okay, few. That's good. That's fine. So I'm the product manager. I work on software at Skycatch. We also have a lot of hardware people. I just want to tell you really briefly what is Skycatch and what is our company and what have we done in the past couple of years. So we're a 2-year-old company. Do you want to go to the next slide? We're a 2-year-old company, and we started designing drones for use in industrial solutions, so industrial situations. So these drones do aerial mapping, surveying, and inspection for construction, mining, agriculture, energy plants, solar plants, and other types of scenarios. And our drones fly completely autonomously, and we have a ground station, which is a second robot that sits on the ground and services the robot that flies. So the robot lands autonomously into another robot, and then that robot has arms that swap out the battery, take off the memory and the data from the camera, reprogram the drone, and send it off on another mission. So we can fly completely autonomously over these sites. This robotic hardware is very complex and very expensive, and it only, until now we've worked side by side with some of the world's largest companies, such as Bechtel, Chevron, big companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, global companies, deploying these robotic solutions for mapping and inspection. So today we're going to talk about a product that helps bring all this technology to you. So if you want to start a business with the drone that you have, that you can buy off the shelf, you can build a business doing this for potentially similar clients or smaller clients. So any farm in the world, any construction site in the world can be your customer, and you can go out there and build a business using this product. So that is the genesis behind the product that we're building now. And our CEO, Christian Sands, will be here at the end to give some closing remarks, and we'll have drinks in the next room afterwards, and we'll do our Q&A in there, so we can do, as long as you can, so if you have any questions, our entire Skycatch team will be here, and you can ask us whatever you'd like.
So up next, I'd like to show you a quick video of life at Skycatch. So this is our drone, and it's now landing in our ground station. We'll show you a quick video of how it changes batteries. Now this ground station normally has a case surrounding it, so it's completely rugged and weatherized for any construction site. Welcome to our office. We flew it all the way here for you guys. So work mode is our new product that we wanted to release. So in the construction, mining, agriculture, solar industry, we learned quite a lot. We learned what really valued to the customer, right? So let me ask you a question. If I were to tell you by 2020 that every farm, mine, solar company, roofing company would have a drone flying every day, would you believe me? Yes? Found more? Good answer. Yeah. We basically see this as like, imagine cell phones. When cell phones first came out, they were just designed to call one person, right? That was all they did for many years. And now we have mobile. It's a gateway into the internet, into connecting with friends, speaking with people, right? Same with drones. Right now, we're just taking images with them. But as we showed you, we can build these 3D point clouds. We can do volumetric scans. We can do measurements. We can essentially help customers see their site every day through a whole new eyes from the sky. So if you bear with me, I'm going to walk you through what it's like to be a pilot for a day. So first of all, why drones, right? Why have drones all of a sudden become so useful? We've been flying RC airplanes for many years. But now all of a sudden, in the last 5 years, they've really become everywhere. And it's twofold. One is the quadcopter. So I see we have one person who's flown a drone, not too many. So let me start from the beginning. Quadcopters are very, very stable platforms. Twofold. They're very simple. And secondly, they're fully automated, right? So we have GPS enabled, and then we have full degree of sensors as far as barometers, magnetometers, accelerometers, gyroscopes to help balance the machine. It will fly itself. Our machines take off, land, fly an entire mission without us ever having to touch them. It's quite amazing. It can fly better than I can. So this is actually one of our drones out in the wineries. This is one of the cameras we can carry. This is a NDVI camera, which actually measures multispectral light that can tell how healthy the crops are. It's very fascinating. We can scan thousands of acres, and the vineyard owner can look and see what crops need more water, what crops are under attack from insects, all just by pushing a button. So one of the nice things about these quadcopters, drones, is that they're very easily deployable, right? We can walk. Right here we have actually this suitcase is all we take with us on site. It contains everything we need to fly. Multiple batteries, spare parts, the drone, computer, everything. We can show up on site with that, scan an entire construction site, entire mine, and then pack it up and go. It's very portable and easy. Secondly, we can carry different payloads. Like this, we have a multispectral camera. We can carry infrared, LiDAR, just a normal camera as well if you want to just take pictures. Most of our maps we build with just a normal Canon camera. It's pretty amazing. Lastly, they're very flexible when it comes to mission planning. So if we have a drone that's out and there's a crane, there's a bird, we can essentially ask it to do something in the middle of the mission, but we don't have to fly it. We can essentially drop a waypoint and have it come right to us or just come back and land automatically. It's amazing. I know it sounds really, really simple, but we've been flying planes for many years. It's never been as easy as that. It's amazing to be able to drop a pin on a tablet and have it come right back to you. And lastly, they're able to measure just about anything, just about anywhere. We've gone to very extreme environments where we can take off on basically a pad, right, that's in a swamp. And we can take off, do a full scan of this marsh, come back and land. Helicopter, boat, we don't need anything. We can just stand right there and do it. So they're a very, very flexible platform to do this. So now, they've also just exploded in the market, right? We have manufacturers like Parrot, DJI, 3D Robotics. They sell ready-to-fly models. You can buy them from anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000 euros on the expensive end, right? This is 4,000 euros. It's a very, very large, expensive, heavy-lift quadcopter. And then you have very simple ones that have full autonomy still. They have GPS, cameras built in. This Phantom is one of the most recognizable. I'm sure you guys have seen them a few times. They come with the camera, full mission programming capabilities built in for 1,000 euros. It's amazing, right? All that technology in such a small package for so cheap. And it's what's really revolutionizing the market. So essentially with this genesis, with this growth of these drones, we've decided to design work mode, and it's two parts. First of all, we wanted to provide a marketplace, pilots that would be able to come and say, hey, look, I have the skills to fly drones. I can do this. I can scan mines. I can work in construction. But they have a hard time connecting with customers. Same with customers. So many customers need a project but can't find a pilot. There's no marketplace for it. So we've designed one. We want to have qualified pilots that go through simple certification. Now, in the US, we have a very different certification. France is very progressive. You guys are doing an amazing job with your drones. You have a very, very comprehensive law, a very, very favorable government as far as how they look upon drones and what they can be used for. And we're actually going to be very lucky we have Benjamin here today to speak a little bit about the regulations in France and how you guys can become drone pilots. So our marketplace is designed to help you, the pilot, connect with the customer, and then we take all that daunting issues as far as data processing, and we do that on our end. And we include all of the tools that we've learned in the construction industry and analytics and provide that to you, which you can then present to your customer. So let's talk a little bit more about flying. By the way, we've been called the Uber for drones by Wired Magazine. So I think that's pretty fitting. So this is my office. This is essentially what a day in the life of a drone pilot looks like. We drive on site with a truck or show up by bus. We'll fly the site, come back, upload the data, and process it all on the cloud. That allows us to be very flexible. We can go fly multiple sites because processing data is very, very time consuming. If we can spend more time flying, we can have more clients, we can reach more business, and let all that data processing happen on the cloud. Computers are very, very good at that. So welcome to a day in the life as a drone pilot. So as a drone pilot, the first thing you need to do is pre-flight checks, right? Before you want to go into the field, if you guys are interested, the first thing you do is you want to check that all your equipment's working in the office before you even go out to the field. Plain and simple. You don't want to get there and find out something's not working. Now, we have everything we need to repair the drone while we're there, but we want to make sure it's in good shape before we get there. Now, things happen in transport, and you can react to it on the field, but it's the first step. Make sure everything's working before you leave the office. Secondly is really assessing the site when you get there. You want to understand where your mission's planned, where safe areas are, where roads are, where power lines are, where cranes might be. And you want to assess where you can fly safely and where you can land safely and where you want to avoid. So these are some of the things we take into account. So cities, crowded areas, not a good idea to fly there. It's very dangerous. Secondly, you want to give yourself cushion. So I'm going to take you through kind of a step-by-step idea of what it takes to plan a mission. And I'm going to just give you an idea that we fly with about 20% headroom. So we always have 20% battery when we come to the ground. This is what airplanes and helicopters already do. You always want to have that extra power just in case something goes wrong, the wind kicks up, or for some reason you can't land where you want to. So let's talk about planning a mission. So how hard do you guys think it is to plan a mission? Huh? No idea. No idea. You draw a box. So what we do with work mode is when the customer requests an area to be scanned, we essentially go through Google Maps with our tools, and they're allowed to highlight an area, which then automatically gets sent to the pilot. The pilot can then build a mission right off this. So there's two types of missions really as a pilot that you need to plan for. Small missions, that would be something like the size of this building that a drone can fly in one flight, and large missions. So for small missions, it's pretty simple. You want to make sure that you're going to fly at an altitude high enough that you're not going to run into any cranes, power lines, flagpoles, anything that might be higher than you think, right? Secondly is you want to understand what your max distance is going to be. So for our drone here, we can fly about 5 kilometers total distance. So as we zigzag, the mission will tell you how many total kilometers you are. Now that changes. You want to know as wind comes up. If it's very windy, we'll go down to about 4 kilometers. If it's very, very windy, we'll go down to about 3.5 kilometers. So these things are very fluid, and as a pilot, you'll start to see them. Now, the nice thing about drones is they send back all of that information to you. So when you're flying, you have a full heads-up display of what the drone sees. So 3D Robotics, DJI will all tell you what the battery is, Parrot, so you know what your capacity is, you know when you can come back and land safely. So these all sound kind of, fairly simple, but a few things that we've learned, very, very important. You want to always start taking off with the sun at your back. Even though that sounds very silly, it's happened to me many times where you're flying and just for some reason you couldn't take off where you had the sun at your back, and all of a sudden you became lost because it went through the sun and now you can't find it. And you always want to keep an eye on the drone. So that is something to always prepare for when you set up. Most maps will obviously be oriented in north, so you always take off from the south side of the map. Lastly is the wind speed. So wind changes based on altitude. At about 400 feet or 300 meters, you'll have, or 120 meters, you'll have about 8 kilometers an hour faster wind than you will on the ground. It's just called winds aloft. Planes have to deal with it all the time. So that's something you're going to see as well with your drone. As soon as you're like, oh, it's not too windy, and then you'll see it up in the sky, and it starts pumping around. You're like, it's a little windier up there. So always be aware about 10 kilometers an hour of wind to the winds that'll be aloft. And lastly is changing topography, right? If you're flying at a mine or a vineyard, there's hills. You want to take into account where those hills are, that you're not flying into them. So short missions, small missions are very, very easy. Most of you could probably fly one today with this drone if we had to. You could sit there, push the button, it would take off, fly over, come back. Do you guys think you could plan a mission now? Maybe? Yeah? It's very easy. For a building this size, I guarantee all of you could walk out of this room right now with a tablet, and we could have you fly this building. Very, very simple. Now, that's a small building. What if we want to talk about a large vineyard or a large construction project, pipeline, right? This is a whole nother idea of how to map this. This is a lot more area. It's a lot more information. The drone's going a lot further away from you. So same principles as the first small mission. You want to make sure before you get to the site, the drone's set up. You want to make sure you do a pre-flight before you put the drone in the air, because it's a lot easier to do it on the ground than it is on the air. So what we've designed is a few basic rules whenever you do a large site. First of all, you always start from the furthest point away. So in this example, these are 2 large ponds that we have at a mine that's down in California. It's a borax mine. Total, this is about 80 acres. And so when we say you want to start at the farthest point, this location right here is where we took off from. The drone actually flies all the way over to here and then goes all the way out and works its way back. Now, this may seem kind of simple, but if the wind changes, if the battery somehow starts to get a little bit too low, having the drone coming towards you is key. If it's going away from you, you might put yourself in a very, very, very bad situation. So it's a simple thing to do. Plan the first waypoint as far away as possible. And then maintain line of sight. Now, when I say maintain line of sight, do you guys think just your eyes? Anybody have any ideas what else could be line of sight with the drone? Engineers? Bingo. Yeah. So even though we say line of sight, watching the drone, not letting a building, tree, mountain, anything try to get between you and the drone, same thing needs to be factored in for power lines, right? You want to make sure you're not having any antennas, anything that would block your radio frequency on a longer flight. That's something that can become very scary if you fly next to a power line and all of a sudden, bzzt, it disappears. So do plan that beforehand, because you don't want to be planning it when it happens. Now, secondly, this was all able to be done in one flight. But what if you have to do more than one, right? So total, this was 5-kilometer flight, very long, max distance, but it was a calm day in a warm desert. It was perfect flying conditions. So, but what if the site's twice this size, 3 times this size? How would you plan a mission? Any ideas? Would you just make copy-paste? Any ideas? What was that? Checkpoints, yeah. So what we do is we create a master mission. So what we want to do is we want to make one mission that would cover the entire area. And then quite easily you can delete the checkpoints. You can delete them down to a size that would make sense, right? That you can fly in one mission. And then what you do is you just make 1, 2, 3 missions to cover that area. But it's very important to do that versus just start copy-pasting missions, because what will happen is you won't have the correct overlap for photogrammetry. So photogrammetry is essentially geometry through photos, right? So what we do is we use small points throughout the image processing, and we can pick them. And what we'll do is we'll build a point cloud. Do you guys remember that fly-through of the vineyard that we did in the beginning? That's a point cloud. So that's essentially what we create when we're doing these images. What we then do with the point cloud is we use this as a webbing to build a 3D model. Once we have that point cloud, we overlay texture and images, and then we have a full 3D model. I don't know if any of you guys play video games, but that's been a big thing, photogrammetry in video games that can create very real textures on rocks, all kinds of different stuff. So that's something we use. Now, the real daunting task isn't flying. Does everybody feel like they could fly a drone right now? Yeah? You guys are quiet. We need to get some coffee. So it's very, very easy to fly the drone, right? You can program it easily. You can take it off. But that's not the hard part. The hard part is doing the data processing, right? That's the daunting part of being a pilot. How do you process gigs of data, right? You need a powerful computer. You need expensive software. And then after that, well, how do you give it to your customer? You just send them a file? It's not very professional, not very polished, right? So we've done two things. We want to help you essentially process the data and also present it to the customer. So first of all, once a pilot's done flying, all they need to do to have the data uploaded and for us to process it is geotag. Now, a geotagged image is just essentially metadata that's tagged to the JPEG, right? This is latitude, longitude, and altitude. Now, the drones already have a GPS on them, and it's very, very simple. The different drones have different ways of doing it, but adding this metadata into the JPEG is very simple. Then what we can do is we know the exact location of each picture. We arrange those pictures within a model, so we know how to process them. And then not only that, once the whole image is created, we can overlay it Google Earth. So what we're going to show you today is our dashboard. I'm sorry. So after you geotag the images, all you have to do is upload them to Box. That's it. We handle the rest of the data processing for you. So how does your customer use this data? This is our dashboard. This is one of the construction sites we work on. It's what we call BART. It's same as a train station, so this is a future train station. So how do you add value to your customers, right? We wanted to obviously give them a high-resolution map that they could use during their project planning. But what else? What do they need? What makes their job easier? Well, there's a few tools we developed. So the customer will log on. You'll say, hey, Mr. Customer, we've finished your map. It's available on the dashboard for you. Send them a link, and when they go to open it, this is what they'll see. They'll see their site in high definition. They can move around on it just like in Google Earth. And then we provide our analytics. We provide heat maps. We provide stockpile volumes. And these are all very, very important. The other thing is, too, it's a great collaboration tool, right? On a construction site, how do you tell somebody where a certain piece of rebar is? Any idea? You walk out there and you point at it. That's what they have to do. Imagine a manager that has to go outside and say, hey, I can't find this piece of rebar. Where is it? The manager has to get up, walk all the way outside, and point at, this is the piece of rebar. That's an incredible amount of time for him to do essentially nothing. This map would allow him to pull it up. We have a tool that's an annotation tool. He can literally draw a circle around it and say, there it is. The guy can go out on his mobile phone, walk out to it, and say, oh, this is the rebar. It's a much more efficient tool, but that's not only it, right? If you need a team to say, hey, everybody, we really need to focus on this area right here, right? You can essentially annotate that area. When you click on annotations, my name, Brandon, would be there. Brandon's annotation for today, 12/10/2014, this stockpile. Go look at it. Everybody in the company has access to it. So I want to take you in a little bit more in depth on the tools. So we offer an array of tools. First of all, we have 2D measurement. So not only can a manager, any contractor have access to this, but they can use it as a tool, right? They can interact with the map. They can pull up this 2D tool and measure. So essentially, if they wanted to know how close they were to this building, how far this concrete slab had been paved, they simply drop, pull, and we give them a measure. We can do it in meters as well. We have it in feet on that street. Very valuable tool. Even though that sounds so simple to have a Google map that they can measure, but we can do this within 2 centimeters. We can do it very, very precisely. It's an incredibly valuable tool. And they don't need to get up from their desk. Secondly, we can do 3D volumetrics. So volumetrics are very interesting to a construction project, to mining. It's a great way to look at productivity. If they want to know how far along they've progressed in a project, they don't look at how much concrete that they've poured. They look at how much of a stockpile's gone. Now, would they love to have a 3D laser scan of a stockpile every day? Absolutely. But do you know how long it takes today without a drone to do it? A long time. To do a stockpile the size of this room would probably take an hour, hour and a half. That's a long time. We can do it a drone the size of this room in a minute. So essentially the customer can now have access to data that they need to know how well their site's doing, how quickly they're moving along, what resources they have that they can still use. And they can do it daily for very, very cheap. Now next, we have a good communication tool. We've designed this tool, which is an export tool, right? We want to be able to share. This map we want to be able to use in presentations, be able to print it out, hand out in meetings that people can write on it. So we have a few different ways. We can basically print out a full 2D map that they can post in their office wall, a 2D map that they can basically zoom into a certain area and only do that screenshot, or we actually can do a 3D map, right? We can provide them the last file for a 3D model, or we can do a 3D PDF that they can interact with. So that's a great tool for showing people who've never been to the site before where they need to go, because it changes. Believe me, you can go. So I work at a mine in Southern California, and it changes every single day. There's new roads, there's new mountains. It's amazing. I go there once a week, and every time I go there, I feel like it's a new site, and I'm the one flying and mapping it. So imagine if you're just walking around. So lastly, well, not lastly, we have a few more. Activity heat map. So this has been a very interesting tool that our customers have really taken to. One of the ways that they use it is on large construction projects. They really want to make sure that they are keeping ahead of the project, right? They want to make sure that nothing is getting behind. And how do you manage a large project like a train, right? Like a 10-mile-long train station. Well, the heat map essentially will pull up on top of our Google map what areas have seen activity. So the customer can look at it and see if an area's gone cold. Well, why did that area go cold? We were supposed to be doing work there. Oh, well, we hit a water main or we hit something. Well, they have very easy access to it. It's highlighted to them. It catches their eye. We're trying to make this imagery useful to a customer by making it very easy to see. And then lastly, we have the plan overlays. So we do feature extraction to make sure that when we do our heat maps, it's not affected by any of the cars that may be changing or any random small things. But the plan overlays are very interesting. This is how we interact with the CAD, right? The CAD people who are doing design for the building. What we can do is take their entire model, throw it over our map, and they can essentially see how the building's going to stand on the dirt that's actually there today. It's amazing. Now, it sounds like that's not that big of a deal, but the point of this tool is that so many construction, mining, agriculture people, they don't have visibility to this. I'll talk to a mining person, and they'll basically look at lines on a flat piece of paper that denote the topography of their mine, and that's all they have to see. They're essentially blind. When they look at this, there's very, very little information for them to go off of. This is a whole new world for them. They say, I actually was working with them on a project when they were building a road, and they said, hey, can you send me a 3D model of the part that they were going to make the road out of? And I said, sure, and I sent it to them, and they laughed. They're like, oh, that's hysterical. We actually know what it's going to look like. They never make things now and actually know what it's going to look like. They can't see the change. There's no way to really measure it. This is a tool that actually gives them eyes on their projects. It's amazing. They're very, very excited about it. So that's our dashboard. Now, there's a few interesting things about operating in France. It's an amazing country to operate in. You guys are very lucky. You have amazing rules. And I want to introduce Benjamin, who's going to be here today. Benjamin is the co-founder of Delair-Tech, and he's also the treasurer for FPDC. And he's going to talk to you about basically what do you have to do to be credentialized drone pilot in France.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the regulation, and if everybody is okay with that, I'm going to switch to French. It's okay for everybody because it's very technical stuff and very boring, so I prefer to say it in French. Ok, donc ouais, juste pour me présenter, je m'appelle Benjamin, je suis un des fondateurs de Delair-Tech. Donc Delair-Tech, c'est une société, une start-up qui conçoit, construit et commercialise des mini-drones civils. Donc c'est des drones un peu plus grands que ça et surtout c'est type avion, donc c'est plutôt pour des infrastructures linéaires et des très grandes surfaces. Mais c'est à peu près la même chose. On est basé à Toulouse et on ouvre un bureau à Paris là. Là, j'interviens aussi aujourd'hui en tant que cofondateur de la Fédération française du drone. C'est une fédération qu'on a créée il y a 1 an et demi En gros, il faut savoir qu'en France, on en parlera un petit peu tout à l'heure, mais c'est le pays où il y a le plus d'opérateurs certifiés et officiels au monde. On en est à plus de 1000 aujourd'hui. Les deuxièmes pays derrière sont à moins de 500, donc on a vraiment une grosse avance. Et aujourd'hui, donc, on a monté la fédération pour fédérer un petit peu tous ces acteurs-là. Et du coup, on fait l'interface entre toute cette communauté de dronistes professionnels et les autorités administratives. Donc voilà, donc en gros, je vais vous parler un peu de la réglementation et de ce qu'il faut faire aujourd'hui pour avoir le droit de faire du travail à partir de drones. Donc déjà, la définition du drone, elle est apparue en avril 2012 d'un point de vue légal en France. Avant ça, il n'y avait pas d'existence juridique qui était donnée au drone. En fait, le drone, c'était considéré comme une pierre que vous lanciez ou un cerf-volant, ni plus ni moins. Donc en gros, il n'y avait pas d'existence juridique. Et en avril 2012 est apparu le nom d'aéronef télépiloté. Donc c'est un mot un peu technique, mais en fait c'est un drone. Et en gros, la seule différence entre ça et un aéromodèle, donc quelque chose de loisir, c'est que vous commercialisez une prestation avec, c'est-à-dire que vous générez de l'argent avec ça. Et à partir du moment où vous générez de l'argent, vous êtes censé respecter certaines règles. Et donc il y a deux types de règles. Il y a une règle pour les machines et une règle pour les pilotes. Donc la règle pour les machines, en gros, elles sont classées en différentes catégories. En général, c'est suivant le poids de la machine. Donc il y a moins de 2 kg, moins de 25, moins de 150 et plus de 150. Et ensuite, il y a ces machines-là, elles vont être plus ou moins certifiées pour certains scénarios de vol. Donc aujourd'hui, il y a 4 scénarios de vol qui ont été envisagés. Il y a des scénarios qui sont à vue. Donc c'est les scénarios 1, 2 et 3. Et les scénarios qui sont hors vue, c'est le scénario 4. C'est-à-dire que le hors vue, il n'y a pas de limite de distance entre vous au sol et le drone qui est en train de voler. Et les 3 scénarios à vue, en gros, ils sont un peu différents les uns des autres, suivant que vous êtes en milieu urbain ou pas. Et du coup, vous devez respecter certaines règles si vous êtes en milieu urbain, en milieu non urbain, et si vous gardez le drone à vue. Donc quand on dit à vue, c'est à moins de 100 mètres ou à moins de 1 km suivant les scénarios, ou si vous l'envoyez hors vue. Et donc voilà, donc ces machines, nous les constructeurs de machines, il faut qu'on fasse certifier nos machines pour ça. Et vous, si vous voulez faire une activité drone et que vous voulez la déclarer officiellement, vous avez besoin de demander ce qu'on appelle un manuel d'activité particulière. Donc vous écrivez le manuel en disant voilà, je vais opérer tel type de machine dans tel type de scénario, et vous déposez ça à l'administration qui est la DGAC. Et suivant les scénarios que vous voulez faire, ils vont vous demander des exigences, que vous soyez pilote privé, c'est-à-dire que vous ayez des brevets de pilotage PPL, CPL, hélico, planeur, etc. Et suivant les scénarios, vous aurez besoin de plus ou moins d'heures de vol sur ces machines-là, c'est-à-dire sur les machines type avion réel, avant de pouvoir utiliser un drone. Donc en gros, les scénarios, vous le gardez près de vous et vous êtes en milieu urbain, vous avez besoin juste d'un brevet théorique. Et les scénarios où vous voulez faire quelque chose d'un petit peu plus compliqué, bah là, il va vous falloir des vrais brevets de pilote. Voilà, grosso modo. Et là, nous, à la fédération, donc c'est un texte qui est sorti en avril 2012. Et il y a une évolution de ces textes où, en gros, on facilite un petit peu l'utilisation des drones. Et l'idée, c'est de mettre en place petit à petit des formations officielles de pilotes de drones. Mais ces formations, aujourd'hui, elles ne sont pas encore mises en place. Donc c'est pour ça que la DGAC, que les autorités préfèrent se baser sur les formations existantes. Donc ULM, PPL, etc. Ensuite, quand vous opérez un drone en France, il y a des zones que vous n'avez pas le droit de survoler. Par exemple, ça va être les aéroports, les aérodromes. Dans certains cas, les zones urbaines, avec certaines machines, vous n'avez pas le droit de les survoler. Et récemment, on en a pas mal entendu parler, les centrales nucléaires. Donc, je ne sais pas s'il y en a parmi vous là, qui font partie de ceux qui ont survolé les centrales nucléaires, mais il ne faut pas faire ça. C'est très mauvais pour le business et surtout, c'est assez dangereux en fait. Voilà, donc il y a des zones qu'il faut savoir, voilà, il faut un peu connaître, il faut un tout petit peu de connaissances aéronautiques pour savoir lire une carte et savoir les zones qu'on n'a pas le droit de survoler et les zones qu'on a le droit de survoler. Et donc, comme disait Brandon, effectivement, en France, on a la chance d'être dans le pays qui est le plus avancé au monde, en tout cas en matière réglementaire. On a un cadre juridique qui est vraiment super ambitieux et super lax là-dessus. Et du coup, ça permet de développer, de faire des choses qu'on ne peut pas faire dans d'autres pays. Donc, c'est une opportunité qui est à saisir. Après, nous, personnellement, on fait beaucoup de notre activité dans des pays où il n'y a pas de réglementation, où du coup, le drone n'a toujours pas d'existence juridique. Donc, c'est beaucoup en Afrique, en Amérique du Sud, en Asie du Sud-Est. Là-bas, il n'y a pas d'existence juridique au drone. Donc, en gros, entre guillemets, on peut faire un peu n'importe quoi. Enfin, j'exagère, j'espère que c'est pas enregistré ce que je dis, mais en gros, voilà, en respectant certaines conditions de sécurité, voilà, c'est un peu au cas par cas. Voilà, en gros, je ne sais pas si c'est clair. Je ne sais pas s'il y a déjà des gens qui ont fait ces démarches-là, s'il y a déjà des gens qui ont utilisé des drones pour de l'activité professionnelle. En tout cas, c'est des choses qu'il faut savoir. Sinon, vous êtes hors la loi. Il y a eu un cas il n'y a pas longtemps où il y a une personne qui a fait des superbes vidéos de la ville de Nancy sans avoir demandé les autorisations. Bon, en gros, ça s'est fini que bon, il a eu une amende. Voilà. Ça s'est quand même pas trop mal fini pour lui, si je dois être tout à fait honnête, vu qu'en gros, le maire a tellement aimé qu'il lui a commandé des vidéos, etc. Mais en gros, c'est quand même quelque chose qu'il ne faut pas faire. Donc, je vous engage pas à le faire. Voilà. Donc, je ne sais pas, c'est clair pour tout le monde. Vous voulez que j'aille un peu plus dans les détails sur certains aspects ou c'est bon? Ouais. Pour certains scénarios, ouais, il faut un brevet théorique ULM. Et il y a des scénarios, par exemple le S4, sur lequel nous travaillons, c'est-à-dire le scénario hors vue. Il faut, même l'ULM n'est pas suffisant, il faut un brevet PPL, CPL ou planeur avec 100 heures de vol en commandant de bord. Donc c'est des choses un peu techniques. Bon, tout ça, normalement, c'est censé converger vers des formations vraiment dédiées drones, mais aujourd'hui, voilà, c'est comme ça. Voilà.
Il y avait un projet par Amazon en fait de délivrer par drone les livraisons.
Ouais.
Je veux savoir, c'était votre société qui est dessus ou...
Non, pas du tout. Nous, on fait de l'observation. En fait, il y a disons, deux grandes catégories d'applications avec les drones. Ça va être de la livraison ou de l'observation. Nous, on fait plutôt de l'observation. En gros, c'est des compléments aux satellites. C'est un peu ce que fait Skycatch aussi. Donc, non, c'est pas nous. Alors, peut-être que c'est... Brandon, it's okay if I answer to the... There are some questions. Yeah, okay. Je demande la permission.
Vous avez des gouvernements qui vous ont contacté pour, par exemple, des usages avec la police ou ce genre de choses?
Oui, après, nous, on fait pas ça. Mais effectivement, ça c'est arrivé qu'on nous contacte pour ça. Bon, après, enfin, vous êtes contacté pour tout un tas d'applications. Franchement, il y a des fois, il y a des choses qui sont... Enfin, c'est absurde, quoi. Mais bon, une des premières fois qu'on nous a contactés, c'était des gens de Colombie qui voulaient savoir combien de grammes on pouvait transporter. Bon. On n'a pas répondu, hein, bien évidemment, mais bon, c'était une des premières demandes qu'on ait eues. Ouais.
Je comprends. Ce que j'arrive pas à comprendre, c'est quelqu'un qui fait du ludique a moins de contraintes alors que quelqu'un qui fait du professionnel, alors qu'il peut faire tout à fait la même chose avec un parrot ou chose comme ça. On peut déjà aller très loin, même faire presque du hors-vue, et on lui met pas de contraintes en fait, alors que les problématiques restent les mêmes au final.
Ouais, effectivement. Non, mais c'est vrai. Et du coup, aujourd'hui, la DGAC se pose la question de comment réglementer l'aéromodélisme, effectivement, puisque jusqu'à maintenant, il n'y avait pas vraiment de réglementation, mais les machines n'étaient pas assez puissantes pour faire des choses assez dangereuses. Et du coup, il commence à se poser la question, mais bon, c'est une administration, ça prend du temps, etc.
En fait, tout à fait. C'est pour ça que je posais cette question-là, justement. Je suis un peu de votre avis, effectivement. Mais ma question était surtout pourquoi? Parce qu'au fait, par exemple, je suis invité à un mariage. Je viens avec mon parrot. Je peux faire des vidéos. Si je suis pas payé, d'après ce qu'on dit, tant que je vends pas, j'ai le droit de le faire. Et alors que je comprends pas, en fait, cette... Bien sûr.
Alors, ouais. Il y a non ségrégé. Alors, aujourd'hui, il est ouvert. Hein, en France, depuis 2012, il est ouvert aux drones officiellement. Et l'idée, c'était qu'aux États-Unis, ce soit à partir du 30 septembre 2015. Et aux dernières nouvelles, ils avaient pris un peu de retard. En fait, aux États-Unis, c'est le pays le moins développé pour ça en matière de régulation, parce qu'ils sont très concernés par la privacy, la liberté individuelle. Et en gros, voilà, ils veulent pas qu'on fasse de photos d'eux, en fait. On m'a dit la dernière question. Hein. Désolé.
So I'm just going to ask this in English, if it's
Yeah.
okay with you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Brian. I'm from Singapore. I just have just a simple question. Recently in France, there was news that there was mysterious drones that flew over certain nuclear sites within France. I would like to ask, is there any method to trace back to within a drone, to trace back to who is the original pilot of that drone? And do you feel that there should be software built on board a drone to be able to identify the pilot of a drone, given that there are certain flight and no-flight zones within a country?
Today, it's not possible to do so. I mean, with the kind of drone that they use, it's impossible to know where it comes from and who was the pilot. On our drones, on professional drones, we know who is the pilot. We know what was the waypoint he put in the drone and all the stuff. For professional drone, we need to put an ID on the drones and an ID for the pilot, but it's only for professional drone. The kind of drone that they use, the DJI, the Parrot drone, it's impossible to trace back. Yeah. I mean, personally speaking, yes, I think so, but it's personal. It's not a federation or my company. But I'll give you back the.
Thank
the
you.
floor is yours.
Thanks. Well, I hope that answered your questions. I have no idea what you guys were talking about. So I hope the regulation environment here makes a little bit more sense to you guys, and I hope that you understand basically the simple process of planning a mission. Now, the next part of work mode that we've identified is the marketplace. So essentially, it's just going to be like calling an Uber, right? You're going to have a pilot that has a pilot profile. They'll tell you essentially, their name, how long, what their certification level is, what their specialty is, and how long they've been flying for. And then you can basically say, hire this pilot. And then you'll have your map. You can highlight the area that you'd like to have surveyed. It'll give you an estimate in square feet, and it'll give you the contact info, and you'll basically get the flight request. So this is one of the things we've tried to do as far as streamlining, help finding pilots and customers, right? So twofold. We already have pilots certified for work mode. We have almost 2,000 pilots already. We've been doing this for a month. We have pilots in Nepal, China, Japan, Southeast Asia, South America, California, France. We actually have a French pilot who's going to be joining us tomorrow. This marketplace is going to really revolutionize how drones are used to survey. We're trying to help certify the pilots. Now, France has their own special certification that I think is really going to be modeled the way the rest of the world goes, truthfully. You guys have done a very, very thorough job of laying out clear regulations on how to move forward with being a pilot, and you've supported it as well. So this is essentially something we want to model as far as working here in France, how you can find companies that need surveys. So this is what it would look like. You go to our website, you have two. You have Join the Fleet, which is how you can become a pilot. We all ask you to join the fleet, it's free. And then secondly, for the customers, they can request a map. Right there. That's all you have to do. Once they request a map, it'll take them to that Google page where they can highlight their area, they can put an address, say this is what we'd like to have surveyed, and it'll link the pilot and the customer together. So what do you guys think? Pretty cool? Anybody going to be a drone pilot tomorrow? Oh, there you go. Oh, question.
On average, how many missions do we need to do to make as money as money we bought the drone? Like,
how long would it take
yeah.
to pay off the drone that you bought? It depends. So think about photography, right? Most photographers, when they go to take a picture of a building, now I'm going to do this in, so $600 US, right? So we have obviously a total varying range as far as what the price can be. You can pay off your drone in one mission, maybe two. Truthfully, not that much. It all depends on the site, though. It varies. So quite quickly, your return on investment would be pretty quick. And then at that point, too, you can move forward and just start accruing money going on. It's pretty easy to get into, truthfully. Now, our drone's a little bit more expensive. You can also go $4,000. You can get a very, very expensive drone. So that would then kind of change the scenario. But I would say within 10 flights, you're going to be making plenty of money, yes. So, was there another question?
You be more specific?
More specific. Sure. More specific. Okay, let's say on average, so we've only been doing this for a month. On average, let's say, this is a number, I'm just going to go from what I've heard of making pilots. They make about $500 when they go out to do a mission. Now, that's just an average number, I would say, I would guess. It's not too much, it's not too bad. For about 45 minutes, hour worth of work. And then you have to upload it in the computer, but that's it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Well trained? Well, the nice thing is the drone flies itself. So the important things is to understand training safety and then also operating safety, right? What the regulations are that you need to operate within. So Benjamin, I'm sure, outlined them. I don't know if we talked about them or not, truthfully. Did you? Yes. So essentially, to become a good pilot, there's multiple training routines. So we actually have a certification and training program that's all online. And then there's a basic flight test that we show you how to do that deals with the hardest thing when it comes to flying RC things is orientation. They're actually very easy to fly, but as soon as they start changing that perspective on you, your mind has to recalibrate, right? What way is it facing? What inputs do I need to give it? That's the hardest thing to do. But it truthfully gets, if you play video games, right? Every time you get a new controller, it takes a little bit to get used to it, but then you start doing it and you don't even think about it anymore. But how long? A month, 2 months. It depends on how often you fly. If you fly every day, 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. It depends. It's different for everybody. But yeah. So we're actually going to have a few closing statements from Umber here. And then we're going to go and have some drinks, and we're happy to answer any more questions you guys have. I'm sure you guys are getting hungry and would like a drink. Thank you.
So I won't talk very long. So we are a San Francisco-based startup. We came here to France because we believe in the market here. And this is really important to us, the regulatory framework, the technical environment, the knowledge, the sheer number of the amount of economic activity here, which means you have lots of sites, lots of places to fly over. That's why we came here. That's why we came here to talk to you. And so that's it. And so this is our new product. We're very excited. Please do sign up. And thank you for coming. We're very humbled that so many of you took the time. Thank you to 42, to Audrey, Fabienne, everybody else who helped us, and of course to Benjamin. Thank you so much.